Hello there, and welcome back. 2 box openings in the same day. So, first package is dropped off at lunchtime, did a quick recording on that, and then this very special box. This has kind of been a long time coming. I've been sort of working on the guy for, I don't know, minimum a year, possibly 2 years, and today it finally happened. It's like a drug deal. I met him behind a building in a parking lot, and we exchanged things. No money changed hands. So, Gary, thanks for that, man. This stuff has been in Gary's possession since this stuff was new. He's held on to these things for years. So let's take a look at the gems that I brought home today. They need a lot of love, but so does this guy. My goodness, you're in the way. Yes, you're in the way. You're right where the thing has to go. All right. So first, there's enough of it here for you to recognize what it is if you are a vintage Kyosho collector. This is the truck that followed the Double Dare. This is the Kyosho USA 1. This was what I hoped would be the Clod Killer. Unfortunately, it was not. I much preferred the 4-wheel independent wishbone suspension. The way the steering was set up, the way the motors were set up. I thought everything about this was superior in every way to the Clodbuster. Unfortunately, don't you know how hard those hubs are to find? And you're chewing on them? Really? Unfortunately, the downfall to this truck was it was fragile. The Clodbuster, even though it was ABS plastic, not unlike most of this truck is ABS plastic, it was more fragile. In particular, these axle carrier hubs, whatever you want to call them, they were just an oversized extended version of what was on the Double Dare, but they were delicate and fragile, so that's too bad. So obviously, we're missing some components. We're missing the front motor and the gear cover for both gearboxes. We're missing parts of the steering to make it 4-wheel steering. We're missing 2 shocks, one on each side in the back. The plastic engine that went here. So she's going to be a work in progress. This is one of those things, as I said about the Pro SE that I bought. Do you want to bleed slow or do you want to bleed fast? To rebuild this slowly is going to take a lot of time and money. So we'll see what's out there on eBay for like another parts truck that's kind of along the same lines. There was one recently, and I almost popped on it, but I had just bought the Pro SE, so that didn't happen. What's really cool about this, it has a Novak high-frequency MegaFET ESC with reverse. The 610, meaning it would operate on 6 to 10 cells with reverse. So a reversible speed control back in the 90s was quite a thing and expensive. I'll be really curious to see if this works and plug this in, get some power, and hopefully that thing works because that is too cool. So, moving on, what else do we got? That's the first one. Oh, that flex is frightening. We'll save the box for last. This one, I talked a lot about the RC cars in my neighborhood growing up that were on the block. And, of course, the Kyosho Shadow was the first one. The Kyosho Raider, take note, was the second one. And then my Big Brute. Those were the 3 hobby-grade RC cars in my neighborhood. But my very next-door neighbor, Daryl Main, whose father had the most amazing vintage car collection you've ever seen, and I don't mean RC, a 1956 Ford Crown Victoria with a glass top, glass roof, was the crown jewel of his collection. 69 Chevelle SS, 67 and a 69 maybe. He had one for his son Daryl. Anyway, Daryl had would you stop it? Daryl had the car version of this. This is the Kyosho Outlaw Rampage. I'm not sure if the Kyosho Rampage was the name for the two-wheel drive glow-powered buggy, and Outlaw Rampage was the name for the truck. They were essentially like most stadium trucks back in the day. They started off as a buggy first. Sometimes they got different arms. Most of the time, they just got different wheels and shock towers and body mounts. Not even shock towers sometimes. This one's really complete. I see that the receiver is missing, but the two servos are there. The glow engine is there, but called for 15% nitro. He put 30% nitro in it, and can you predict what happened next? Yeah. So this motor's fried. That's okay. There are modern motors available that should drop right in. It's got the flywheel to use a starter box. This used to have a pull start on it, little spring push button here for the priming system. She's pretty complete. Really, a new glow engine. Throw the receiver in and a body, and this one's ready to go. Put some foams in there for the tires to get rid of the flat spots. So that's really cool. The radio here, Pat, if you're watching, my buddy Pat, who I raced with back in the 90s, very early 90s. We had a RC track behind the Kmart Mall, of course, when I was working at the hobby shop. Pat had this radio. Pat still has this radio. The very first race on my RC track in my backyard, Pat raced with this radio. He essentially took his RC10, the same condition he put it away in back in the 90s, and this transmitter, and brought it to my backyard racetrack. This was always so cool. I couldn't figure it out looking at the pictures of it in the magazines, how it was set up, but you can see that it's kind of a, rather than all the weight being on top, it kind of dropped down and over to make it more ergonomic. Even to this day, it is still an incredibly comfortable and ergonomic transmitter. It was a very, this was a bougie transmitter back in the day. You had steering dual rate, steering trim. You had brake trim. You had throttle exponential, minimum, maximum for high and low expo, back minimum, maximum expo, servo reversing. It was a bougie transmitter. You could actually recharge the batteries in the transmitter by plugging a charger into the port right there. That was a heck of a radio back in the day. And the receiver is in this glow-powered truck. This was run on, let me just take this box down here. Well, this was run on a Futaba, but let's have a look at the wheels here. So the USA 1 wheels, they're here. Oh, the USA 1 has ball bearings installed. That's good. There's a pin, an axle pin missing here. That's too bad. Or is it? Yeah. I would like to throw the wheels on. I'll do that off camera. USA 1 wheels and tires, no flat spots. So when he put this thing away, the wheels were not on and it didn't sit on a shelf and develop flat spots. Unfortunately, there are flat spots on the Kyosho glow-powered stadium truck, but nothing that some modern stadium truck foam inserts wouldn't fix. Yeah, awesome. Like the fact that the wheels and tires are included in this USA 1 is very encouraging. Attack Sport. Old school Futaba. The batteries were taken out so the inside's not all rusted and corroded. That's great. That's cool. And that's the this Futaba receiver in the USA 1. I'm assuming there's no batteries in this, but it's got the battery tray taped on. Probably dropped and cracked. No label on it, but almost certainly Radio Shack Kyosho 1200 milliamp 7.2 volt stick pack. Radio Shack, that DC only charger, but he says he's got the 12 volt power supply, so I'm looking forward to getting that, because those Tekin chargers that I got just the other day, oh, it's got input reverse polarity protection. That's cool. Anyway, that will never get used. First aid kit, but I feel like it's not a first aid kit. Let's see what's in here for parts. Oh, look at that. We're winning. The missing shocks for the USA 1. The, okay. So on the Kyosho Stadium truck, there are different shocks in the back. Here's one of the originals. Here's another one of the originals, but it broke. The top shock cap broke, so that's too bad. Got the that antenna mount. I'm not sure. I think that's USA 1. That's probably the stadium truck. Yeah, it is, because there's the Airtronics receiver. So we got the receiver, we got the antenna and the antenna mount. Got an old school NiCad glow plug igniter. The charger for the glow plug igniter. No idea. Oh, nice. Got the servo mount for when the USA 1 had a mechanical speed control. That would go right there. You should always leave that in, because that is a chassis brace. Functioning-ish pull starter for the glow engine, because the one that's on there is busted. Oh, a dog bone and a differential outdrive for the USA 1, and that's good because that's missing from this side. There are front dog bones, no, sorry, rear dog bones. He turned this into a 2-wheel drive, rear motor only, front steering version of the USA 1. There's the other steering rack for the back. One dog bone, one outdrive. Rear hubs that I don't know what they belong on. They're not the same as what's on the back of the stadium truck. Clutch shoes for the clutch, no doubt, on the stadium truck. If you remember what these connectors are called, these were our favorite connectors back in the day. We could not wait to pitch our Tamiya connectors in the garbage and switch to these. These made life so much easier. I don't remember what they're called, but if you do, please put it in the comments below. Screws, nuts, bolts. Possibly a nut that goes on the crankshaft of a glow engine. All kinds of hardware, odds and ends. And then we've got two old school 35mm film canisters with Is that Gary, is that cocaine? No. That's a bunch of small little parts, not sure. I don't want to dump that out until I have a container to dump them into. Oh, that one's empty. A couple of rogue body clips in there. So, yeah, so some solid finds. The rear shocks for the stadium truck, glow lighter, charger, some of the USA 1 parts. Good stuff. All right, so it's going to go in the queue. It almost certainly is next year's projects. And the shopping will probably, unfortunately, start the second I turn this camera off and get on eBay. So let's see what we can find to get these things back up to snuff. I'd love to run this one. That one, probably won't run it. I'd like to restore it, put it on the shelf. Never had one. When I worked at the hobby shop, I built one for a customer. Never owned one myself. And a lot of respect for that truck. But, you know, the Tamiya Clodbuster and the Tamiya Blackfoot are still being made today. There's a reason for that. The Tamiya or the Kyosho trucks are not. Man, I wish they would re-release them, but it is what it is. For now, we'll keep buying, keep restoring. So, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that update. And can you feel my anxiety? What am I going to do with all this? Oh, goodness. I'm going to finish it. That's what. When? Well, that's another question, isn't it? That's all I got for this one, folks. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye for now.